Welcome to Prime News. I'm Chatanu Dwelle here with the headlines. The President returns to the island, ending his Middle East tour, having further strengthened friendly ties with Jordan, Palestine and Israel. Information has come to light of a conspirator duping the public by promising jobs at the Presidential Secretariat. The police and the Special Task Force have joined hands to conduct emergency raids to crack down on crime. Raids carried out by the Consumer Affairs Authority have netted a revenue of 82 million rupees last year. The Health Minister is ready to launch many programs to uplift public health, utilizing the massive financial allocations made by the government. And in news overseas, an EU parliamentary inquiry denounces mass data gathering by US and British agencies. In local news, the President returns home after a successful tour of the Middle East, securing many benefits for Sri Lanka. President Rajapaksa, commencing his tour of the Middle East, left the Kaltunayake International Airport on the 4th of this month. On arrival in Jordan on the first leg of his tour, the President, First Lady Shirantha Wickremesinghe Rajapaksa and his entourage were accorded a warm welcome. The President met the King of Jordan, King Abdullah II Ibn al-Hussein, on 5th afternoon at the Royal Hashemite Court in Amman. An agreement was also signed for the promotion of culture between the two countries. The President invited the King of Jordan to visit Sri Lanka. Ending a 2-day visit to Jordan, the President and his entourage left for Palestine on the 6th of this month. A notable feature in the visit was the honoring of the President with the Star of Palestine, the highest award of the State of Palestine. President Rajapaksa met the Palestinian President Dr. Mahmoud Abbas at the Presidential Palace in Ramallah and held bilateral discussions. After these bilateral discussions, agreements were inked to establish the Joint Sri Lanka-Palestine Joint Commission and the Mahinda Rajapaksa Vocational Training Centre. The President also paid floral tributes to the Yasser Arafat Mausoleum. The President also held talks with members of Sri Lanka-Palestine Solidarity Organisation as well as the Palestinian business community. The President and the First Lady thereafter visited the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem and attended the Christmas Eve Mass.
Διαμέσου των αιώνων
The head of the Eastern Orthodox Church, Patriarch of Jerusalem, Theophilos III, held a banquet in honor of President Rajapaksa and the First Lady. Ending the official visit to State of Palestine, the President, First Lady Shirantha Wickremesinghe Rajapaksa and the entourage reached Jerusalem in Israel on Wednesday the 8th. The President met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and had bilateral discussions. Thereafter, they visited the religious sites in the old city of Jerusalem.
And people are coming now. Sites. This is where Jewish people are facing, looking.
The President and his delegation also attended a religious service at the Church of the Nativity in Jerusalem. Talks between President Rajapaksa and his Israeli counterpart, Shimon Peres, were held at the President's office in Jerusalem. The Israeli President commended President Mahinda Rajapaksa's leadership, calling the achievements during President Rajapaksa's tenure a very impressive record. President Rajapaksa, while thanking Israel for its assistance in the aftermath of the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami, elaborated on the developments that have taken place in Sri Lanka since the end of the war. The President, who met the Sri Lankan community in Israel, emphasized that he would leave no room for any foes to divide the country. The President underscored that he would not permit for terrorism to raise its head on Sri Lankan soil. President Rajapaksa also visited the Grove of Nations in the Jerusalem forest yesterday and planted an olive tree.
Over here, please.
The president met with a group of members of the Israeli business community who are currently engaged in business activities in Sri Lanka and discussed agriculture, dairy production, irrigation, the tea industry and distance learning. Minister Professor G.L. Pires, External Affairs Monitoring MP Sachin Vaskunawardana, UNP parliamentarian John Amaratunga, parliamentarians Kamala Ranatunga and Roshan Ranasinghe, and President Secretary Lalit Veeratunga were among those who joined the president in this visit.
Information on a conspiracy to dupe the public and secure money by promising jobs in the Presidential Secretariat has come to light. The Presidential Secretariat revealed that a person masquerading as a secretary of a parliamentarian was engaged in this fraudulent activity. There is a stipulated procedure for granting jobs in the Presidential Secretariat, and no outsider or any other institution can mediate in securing jobs at the Secretariat. It has been disclosed that money has been secured from a number of persons under the guise of securing jobs at the Presidential Secretariat. The Presidential Secretariat has appealed to the public to immediately bring to the notice of the police of any person who attempts to secure money, claiming that jobs will be found at the Secretariat or any other institution affiliated to the Secretariat. The police and the Special Task Force have embarked on a program of carrying out emergency raids with the aim of cracking down on crime. The new program was launched today, centering the Nugegoda SP division.
The police claim that the rate of crime has soared due to various reasons. Illegal activities such as trafficking in narcotics had led to the increase in criminal activities. The police, in collaboration with the Special Task Force, are carrying out raids to rein in the situation. This program was unveiled today from the Nugegoda SP division. The program has been launched on the instructions of SSP Nugegoda WMM Vikramasinghe and under the guidance of ASP Nugegoda Jayantatapattu. The ASP said that the special operation is launched with effect from today with the support of the Special Task Force and with the consent of the Defence Secretary, the Inspector General of Police, the Senior DIG and the Senior Superintendent of Police of the Nugegoda Division. These operations are targeted especially at drug peddling, crimes and robberies. The first stage of the operation commenced in Nugegoda, establishing roadblocks.
The Ministry of Cooperatives and Internal Trade has said that a sum of 82 million rupees had been collected following the raids conducted by the Consumer Affairs Authority during last year. 50,000 raids had been conducted during this period and 25,117 traders who had flouted the Consumer Act had been prosecuted. The highest number of raids had been carried out in the Colombo district. 3,024 raids were carried out in the Colombo district and the number of cases filed was 3,000. The total number of raids conducted in the Gampaha district was 2,484, while in the Kandy district the figure was 2,745. It was possible to seize large stocks of food unsuitable for human consumption following the raids mooted by the Consumer Affairs Authority with the intention of safeguarding the consumers. Minister Johnston Fernando has said that action was being initiated against the culprits immaterial of their positions for deceiving the consumers. Continuing in local news, Minister Maithripala Sirisena has referred to the massive funds allocated for the progress of the health sector. Accordingly, the minister said that plans are afoot to launch many programs in the health sector this year. The minister said that 157 billion rupees had been allocated in the 2014 national budget for Line Health Ministry and the provincial health ministries. 117 billion rupees is for the Line Health Ministry. 2014 has been declared as the National Narcotics Prevention Year. Also, the National Health Week will be held from 24th to the 30th of March. 2014 is the second year of the 5-year national plan. The minister said that he would be visiting every area as the minister in charge of the health portfolio during all these activities and discuss all shortcomings. This, he added, will help to further strengthen the free health service. The minister was addressing provincial health ministers. health ministers, health secretaries, health directors as well as officials involved in the health sector attended this meeting. Parliamentarian Rohana Pushpakumara was also present. Military spokesman Brigadier Ruan Wanigasurya has said that the US Embassy in Sri Lanka has issued statements besmirching the image of the Sri Lankan troops on microblogging site Twitter. He termed these baseless allegations made by the embassy in Colombo.
There has never been such an incident anywhere else in the north either. Sri Lanka Army has never targeted civilians throughout the humanitarian operations. There was no case of willful targeting of civilians. However, the LTTE kept a human shield around them, and the US Embassy has never mentioned about that fact. We reject this allegation and deeply regret that the US Embassy had resorted to an act of this nature, probably with some other motive.
Meanwhile, Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa visits the Mahanayaka of the Amarapura Sri Dhammarakkhita Mahanikaya, the Most Venerable Valigamanyana Ratnathera, who was infirm for some time, and inquires into his well-being. The parliamentarian, who arrived at the Sri Javardhanapura hospital, made queries with regard to the health condition of the prelate. Mr. Rajapaksa visited the prelate on the instructions of the President and made inquiries from the staff with respect to the treatment meted out to the Venerable Valigamanyana Ratnathera. The world's largest floating bookstore, Logos Hope, has entered the Trincomalee harbour. The Logos Hope vessel, which is the world's largest floating bookstore, has anchored at the Trincomalee harbour. Eastern Governor Mohan Vijayvikrama declared the exhibition open to the public. There are books written on more than 5,000 topics on board the 9-storey vessel. The staff of the ship includes about 400 personnel from 60 countries. The vessel will remain at the Trincomalee harbour until the 15th of this month. Admission is free for children in school uniforms and children below 12 years of age accompanied by parents. Computer labs are being provided to 145 schools in the Kegala under Data Kerala. Computer labs are also known as E-Shilpagara, being provided to 145 schools in the Kegala district under the Data Kerala National Development Programme. Accordingly, Minister Ranjit Sembalapetia has vested the computer laboratory established at the Mathakama Junior School at Alkama in Varkapula in the students. The government incurred an expenditure of 4.5 million rupees on the construction of the computer lab. The purpose of this effort is to popularize information technology among school children, strengthening the Mahinda Chintana of taking information technology to the village. The 2014 Leyavaruna program draws to a successful close. The 2014 Leyavaruna program, jointly organized by the Seva Vanitha unit of the Independent Television Network and the Nimal Lansa Foundation, was held this year at the Full Moon Hotel in Katunayaka. Provincial Minister Nimal Lansa, ITN Chairman Rosman Senaratne and Director of the Coconut Development Board Sampath Valisinghe were present at the launch of the Leyavaruna workshop. Cooking, bridal dressing and beauty culture were among the many fields that were covered during this event. Many veterans in the respective fields joined in the conduct of the workshop. Participants were given an opportunity to engage in practical activities with them. Participants were able to gain first-hand knowledge and experience in the respective fields. ITN's Seva Vanitha unit is organizing this event annually to empower women, and this is its 4th edition. No one can ever forget the brutal killing of innocent civilians by the Tiger terrorists displaying their ruthlessness to the entire world. This dark era, which was stained with blood and filled with brutality, is being reminisced in the feature that follows.
The Tiger terrorists launched an assault in the Punnale area on 10th January 1992, killing 9 war heroes, and thus embarked on their killing spree on 10th January in the dark era. On 10th January 1993, the bloodthirsty, ruthless Tiger terrorists killed 6 war heroes in attacks unleashed on the Kusgul and Mahawaya areas. The terrorists covertly entered Pulmuday and mooted a severe attack. As a result, 2 heroic soldiers sacrificed their lives on behalf of the country on a day like today in 1992. On 10th January in the year 2000, the terrorists took away the lives of 2 war heroes, launching a Claymore mine attack. Demented by the severe defeat suffered, the remorseless Tiger terrorists mooted another assault in the Vaddakachi area on 10th January 2009. On the same day, the terrorists launched mortar attacks in Vaddakachi, killing 3 more brave soldiers. In the year 2009, also on a day like today, the country was deprived of the services of 4 war heroes, launching an attack in the Kirindamadu area. In the massive devastation unleashed by the terrorists for 30 years, they had taken away the lives of 34 war heroes and also killed 3 civilians on 10th January throughout the fierce psychosis period. The number killed during the dark era by the terrorists on January 10th alone was 37. If the gallant soldiers did not enthrone peace in the country, routing the brutal Tiger terrorists whose desire was to quench their thirst for blood, killing innocent civilians and war heroes, more lives would have been lost. Undated by the pressure exerted by local as well as extraneous forces, the brave soldiers continuously advanced and brought peace to the motherland, mainly due to the straightforward decisions taken by President Rajapaksa. But as a result of the attempts made by local and alien forces to create a conflict situation among the communities that are living together and enjoying the fruits of freedom, there is a serious threat to the peaceful environment prevailing in the country. Light has already been shed in the world on the atrocities committed by world powers such as Britain and the United States, flagrantly violating human rights. It is ludicrous to note human rights reports sought by such countries from Sri Lanka. The war heroes liberated more than 300,000 innocent civilians from the clutches of the terrorists and donated their food and drink to eliminate the hunger and thirst of these helpless people, displaying their humane treatment to the entire world. Isn't this process Sri Lanka's best human rights report?
On Diversity Tonight, a tech roundup for 2013.
Whether it's wearable devices or innovative smartphone attachments, the gadgets of 2013 have continued to evolve and amaze during the course of the year. While an eye-controlled tablet meant gamers could play without their hands, robo-lawnmowers took grass cutting in their stride, and a smartphone app allowed parents-to-be to hear their baby's heartbeat in the womb. While most other mini tablets on the market had 7-inch screens, it was unclear whether consumers were ready for a larger 8-inch device. In March, new technology was ringing the changes in the smart house at London's Ideal Home Show. At TechCrunch, London-based company Berg displayed their little printer to visitors.
Your nightly business update follows.
The first ever International Investment Forum in the Eastern Province is scheduled to take place on the 17th of this month under the auspices of Minister Basil Rajapaksa. The forum, titled Invest in East, aims to attract local and foreign direct investment in the post-conflict economy to the region. The event is organized by the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Production and Development, Rural Industries and Development and Fisheries and Tourism of the Eastern Province in collaboration with the Ministry of Economic Development and the Ministry of Investment Promotion. It will gather about 200 potential investors from around Sri Lanka and abroad. The conference will focus on topics such as current trade and investment climate in the East, opportunities on offer when investing in the region, project financing and infrastructure rollout plan.
Prime World brings news overseas.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to you. The globe trotting begins. This is Prime World with Sasankadas. Stay with us.
The draft committee report obtained by The Guardian reveals that an EU parliamentary inquiry condemns unprecedented and indiscriminate mass data gathering by US and British agencies, calling for the practice to stop and questioning its legality. The 51-page draft report, prepared by the European Parliament's Civil Liberties Committee's rapporteur, British MEP Claude Moraes, has, in the strongest possible terms, condemned mass surveillance activities of the US National Security Agency and its British counterpart, Government Communications Headquarters. The most unproductive and least popular US Congress in history can count on another distinction. For the first time ever, most members of the legislative branch are millionaires. At least 268 of the 534 current members of the 113th US Congress have an average net worth of $1 million or more. In 2011, only 48% of members had a median net worth of at least $1 million. That number is just over 50% for 2012. The median net worth in 2012 for the 530 current congressional members who were in Congress as of May 2013 filing deadline was $1,008,767, up from $966,000 in 2011. A suicide bomber blew himself up at a military recruitment center in Baghdad, killing at least 21 people. The attack was widely seen as retaliation against the Iraqi government's campaign to retake two cities overrun by Al-Qaeda militants. The attacker detonated his explosives outside the recruitment center in the city's central Alawi neighborhood as volunteers were waiting to register inside. At least 25 people were wounded in the blast. A car bomb exploded near a school in the village of Al-Kafat in central Hama province, killing at least 16 people and wounding dozens. Syrian TV reported explosion also caused extensive damage. According to the report, 3 were women and children were also among the victims. The Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which keeps track of the fighting in Syria through a network of activists on the ground, said 18 people were killed, most of them civilians. Al-Kafat's residents are mostly from the country's minority Ismaili sect, a branch of Shiite Islam. From sandy beginnings come intricate carvings with dinosaurs and mammoths, the stars of this show. It's the serious craft of sand sculpting, and this Australian exhibition is blowing visitors away. At Windsor's International Sand Sculpting Championship, the theme is The Lost World, with artists from around the world arriving to test their skills. Each contestant started with a 20-ton block of condensed sand and was given 3 days to carve out their own creative vision. Tools of the trade range from dental kits to kitchen utensils, whatever it takes to achieve the high level of detail on display.
Wir waren 5 Freunde. Wir waren jung und wir wussten, dass uns die...
Generation War is a German war film directed by Philipp Kedelbach and starring Volker Bruck, Tom Schilling, Miriam Stein, Katharina Schüttler and Ludwig Trepte. Depicts the lives of 5 young German friends forced to navigate the unconscionable moral compromises of life under Hitler.
Sind hier im Dienst am deutschen Soldatenkampf mit am Vaterland zu leisten.
Der Krieg wird schon einen Mann aus ihm machen.
Auf den Endziel.
Wir führen einen Krieg.
Das ist doch kein Krieg.
Doch, ein neuer. Wir sollten uns von der Welt verabschieden, wie wir sie kennen. Die Juden werden nach Osten geschickt.
Das sind keine Deutschen mehr, nicht für sie.
Ist nicht merkwürdig, dass Züge vollfahren los und immer zurückkommen leer.
Bin ich berühmt bin, wenn ich schon dafür sorgen, dass dir nichts passiert.
Spätestens Weihnachten ist der Krieg vorbei. Das du uns zum Vorschein bringen.
Macht doch keinen Sinn! Es gibt keinen Sinn! Gott hat uns verlassen!
Wir waren unsterblich. Wir sollten es bald besser wissen.
Hast du dein Foto noch?
Ja, klar.
And with that, we mark the end of Prime World for tonight. Back to the main news desk.
Our final segment for tonight, Prime Sports.
Sri Lanka is in a strong position in the second test against Pakistan played in Dubai. At stumps today, the third day, Pakistan were 132 for 3 wickets. Sri Lanka scored 388 in their first innings. Mahela Jayawardene notched up another century by scoring 129 runs. Kaushal Silva supported him with 95 runs. Pakistan is still trailing Sri Lanka by 91 runs. Tomorrow is day 4. Sri Lankan spin bowling legend Muthaiya Muralidharan meets tennis stars world number 1 Serena Williams and sister Venus on the rooftop of a city hotel during a media event for the upcoming Australian Open tennis tournament in Melbourne. Serena Williams took time off her hectic preparations ahead of Australian Open to try her hand at cricket. She was joined by her sister and fellow tennis player Venus. The two received first-hand training from Muthaiya Muralidharan and Aaron Finch.
And that marks the end of tonight's bulletin. These and other news stories are accessible at www.itnews.lk. Good night.